What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Matt, from the DFS 5-pack, rocking it solo. It is Monday, September 20th. I didn't even check this yet. We have 7 MLB games to go over, and I'm excited about it. Hopefully everyone had a good NFL Sunday, good weekend, college football on Saturday. NFL DFS was definitely a grind for me. Not a positive day, but thought it was going to be an awful day early. Guys I like that I used, I made 3 lineups. I used Montgomery in 2 of 3. I used Jonathan Taylor in 2 of 3. Those guys were awful. I used James White in 2 of 3. He was really good. Unfortunately, my James White lineup was not with Kyler Murray. The good part was in my Kyler Murray lineup, I used Rondale Moore, who I'm a huge fan of. That got me enough to cash in 1 of 3. That said, never a good day when you're only cashing 1 of 3, and it's a min cash at that. So looking forward to getting it back in MLB. I love these Monday night slates. I think there's a couple really good spots to talk about tonight. So without further ado, let's get it. All right, so as far as pitching options go, I mean, what else can you say about Robbie Ray? I mean, making a strong push for AL Cy Young. Garrett Cole got lit up yesterday. I could see Robbie Ray winning it, especially if the Blue Jays make the playoffs over the Yankees. He's just in such good form right now. Not a great matchup against Tampa. Obviously, we know Tampa's really good. They also strike out a lot. So Ray looks like the top dog in all formats for me. Framber Valdez, he got scratched his last start. It was a smaller slate. I can't remember exactly what day that was on, but I know he got scratched. Now he's 9,500 at home against the Angels, or in LA against the Angels. Matchup's great. I mean, we love picking on the Angels, but considering the other options, I cannot see myself using Valdez on this slate. Next up, we got Freddy Peralta. Dominant against Detroit in his last outing. I'd be careful, though. I mean, 70 pitches in a dominant outing. He's getting a lot of love. I really can't see spending 9,200 on him right now. St. Louis has gotten him in the past. I mean, given the workload and the other options, I won't use Peralta. Now, he's right behind Ray as the top DFS pitcher on the slate, so that's the argument for him, and I don't hate that argument. Huascar Noah, who I'm a big fan of, he's struggled to start off his last 2 starts and then bounced back. He's in another pretty good spot here in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. On a lot of slates, I'd be looking at him harder. There's just other cheaper guys I like more to potentially pair with Ray or to use together. I skipped over Sean Manaea. I'll talk about Cortez first. So Cortez has been good. I mean, I don't love the $8,600 price tag. Good matchup, though, against the Rangers for sure at home. He's getting a decent amount of love. I mean, he's just been good. I don't think I'll land there on this slate because, again, there's a couple other cheaper guys I like a lot more, but I don't hate it. No thanks on Tyler Anderson. No idea why Humberto Mejia is so expensive. Means no. Then we get to Shane Bazz, who I am very interested in. Listen, very tough spot against the Blue Jays. We know how powerful their lineup is. It's also very right-handed heavy, and Bazz is one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball. He's the last piece that came over from the Pirates and the Chris Archer, Tyler Glasnow, Austin Meadows deal. That deal just keeps getting worse for Pittsburgh. I mean, check the numbers. Over 46 innings, he's got a slightly under 2 ERA, 1.76, a .85 whip, 64 to 11 K to BB over 46 innings. I mean, that's dominant stuff. Even in the tough matchup, he's just way better than a $6,900 pitcher. I don't know how long his leash will be. I'm going to have to look into that as the day goes on. But, like, on paper, I like Bazz a lot. And then Ranger Suarez, who's coming in as the highest-owned pitcher on the slate. And, I mean, he looks like the top option in all formats. I hate saying that on a slate like with Robbie Ray and Peralta, but Suarez has been good. More solid than spectacular maybe, but he's been good. Check the 5-game log. Like, 19 plus. And he's got 20 to 23 in, like, every one of those starts. Now he gets an Orioles team that strikes out a lot, missing their DH, adding a pitcher in their lineup. I mean, listen, it's not like Suarez is impervious to getting hit. If you want to roll with some Baltimore bats, or if you want to use a couple of those other pitchers and just hope Suarez isn't great, I get it. On paper, though, I mean, he looks like one of, if not the top option. So very interested in Bazz, Suarez, and Ray. I mean, those are my guys, I think. I skipped over Manaea, like I said. I can't trust Manaea right now. He had those 2 good starts in Toronto against the White Sox, but other than that, he's just not pitching well. I get it. Like, man, the spot's so good at home against Seattle. Also, he dominated Seattle earlier this year. There it is, July 22nd. I mean, dropped a 40 spot on him. We know he's got upside, so I guess that's the case for Manaea in itself. It's just that he's got big upside, and he's not going to he is getting a decent amount of love. Looks like the SP ownership is pretty split with Ray, Cortez, Manaea, Suarez, and Peralta all getting love. Bazz getting no love. And I get it, tough spot, etc. But I'm interested just because of his arm talent. So let's say right now we go Ray and Suarez, which I think at the end probably the chalk because people want Ray and people know Suarez is too cheap. So then we get ahead of some offenses. So we've got Baltimore at Philly. I'm not looking at Baltimore. Like I said, if you want to take the stand, like, listen, these are spots that I like to pick on because Suarez is not chalky because he's great. He's chalky because he's cheap. The thing is, though, he's also been good, and I'm a believer in his stuff. So I don't think Baltimore's where I want to go tonight, but in theory, I don't think it's a bad play. We'll see where's me. Mancini's all the way down to 3,400. What? We'll see if he's in the lineup today. He should not be 1,300 less than Mountcastle. That said, Mountcastle's having a really good year. Again, Baltimore in tournaments, I don't hate it, but probably not where I go on like my 3 entry max. Then we get to Philly against John Means. Philly played on Sunday night last night. They're battling hard. Bryce Harper is one of the hottest, if not the hottest hitter in baseball. Maybe won't get as much love in a lefty-on-lefty matchup with other really good hitting spots. So I could see taking some shots on Philly. Segura, locked in right now. They got some cheap pieces to go with it. McCutchen crushes lefties. Yeah, I don't hate some Philly pieces. I think you could do worse for sure. I won't get any love. Texas and the Yankees. Looks like the Yankees are coming in as big, big chalk. It makes a lot of sense. I like that he's coming out. He's not coming out of the bullpen today. He had pitched really well as a starter, and now he's starting again today. The Yankees just got rolled by my Indians past 2 games. They're going to be really, really popular here. Judge, Stanton, Gallo revenge. I bet he plays today. I would be surprised if he's out of the lineup. We shall see, though. Their first basemen are really cheap. They're just way too cheap for this spot. LeMahieu under 4K, Urshela under 3K, Torres like 3K. Way, way too cheap. Gary Sanchez under 4K. It makes no sense. So in cash games, I think you load up on Yankees, and it's a tough fade in tournaments. As far as the Rangers go, ballpark upgrade for them. They're too expensive for me, though. Not a team I'm looking at at all. My boy Tavares, he's now priced up at 3,600. He's cooled down for sure, so I'm not too interested there. All right, next up, Toronto and Tampa. This game's all about the pitching for me. I like Bazz and Ray. Now, Toronto, is always in play for me when they're expensive and not going to get a ton of love, and I think you're going to see that tonight. People respect Bazz, even if they won't use him in this spot. They know that he's an elite prospect, so they're not going to want to stack Toronto. And man, we've seen prospects get lit before. We've seen Toronto light up major league aces like Max Scherzer. So it wouldn't be like the craziest thing in the world to see them, rock up Bazz in his major league debut at all. Their lineup is full of righties, like I mentioned, so that's good for Bazz, but it's also a really good lineup. The righties are amazing. Vlad, Simeon, Bichette, Teoscar. That foursome right there is legit. Springer up top, too. So all 5 of those guys are elite hitters, and I can get on board with stacking them at any time. As far as the Rays go, similar but different, facing a guy that is really good. We know Ray is really good, though. So the chances of the Rays getting to Ray, I think it's less likely than Toronto getting to Bazz. That said, they will be lower owned. Both teams will be low owned. The Rays will be 0 owned. Brandon Lau crushes lefties. He has big power. He won't get – he'll be under 1% owned at 5,500. So I get that. But, man, This game's about pitching for me. Cardinals and Brew Crew. We have Peralta against Jake Woodford. So, man, we've seen the Cardinals like win slates like this a couple times recently, facing not even necessarily a chalk pitcher, like a good pitcher like this. And the last time it was more of a chalk pitcher, and Tyler McGill, I remember I talked about him and it never got on him. The Cardinals have been good recently. I'll say that. Like, and they're pretty affordable. I mean, Goldie has been good. Arenado, I know O'Neill had a big series against the Padres. I mean, you want to talk about a one-off with big power upside? Hell yeah. I like that Tyler O'Neill call a lot. So he's a guy, and again, I don't think you're going to see more than 5 innings of Peralta here. I just don't think you're going to see it. So I like O'Neill here. The Brewers' bullpen is good, but if they can get to the Peralta a little bit, you'll see the weaker arms. The Cardinals are in must-win mode like every game. The Brewers are cruising. I like O'Neill. I don't even mind a mini stack of St. Louis. Really, though, the offense that you want here is going to be Milwaukee. Pretty affordable. Good to see Eduardo Escobar back-to-back double-digit games. He'd be my favorite piece. Granted, he's expensive. Then you got like the fill-ins, Wong, Narvaez. They are a little bit more expensive, and no Willy Adames, maybe no Avistel Garcia. Their lineup isn't that sexy, so probably not a team I get to a lot of, but I don't hate it. All right, next up we got Houston at the Angels. So Valdez against Berea. I don't really want to use Valdez, but I doubt I use the Angels here. Ohtani coming off a really nice start. He's always in play as a one-off and actually under 6K. He hasn't been great recently, but maybe that good start yesterday on the mound gets him going a little bit, gets his confidence going a little bit. I could see that. He's obviously my favorite piece of the Angels, the only piece I think I'd consider. And the Astros, I mean, they look like one of, if not the top stack on the board. They're coming in with less ownership than both the Braves, who we'll get to, and the Yankees. And, man, on paper, they might be my top overall. I like every piece. Jordan, Jose Altuve, Bregman, just way too cheap. Correa's hot. Gurriel's really affordable. With Brantley on the IL and Tucker, I bet he doesn't play today. So you're gonna have even cheaper pieces. So again, I like Tucker a lot, but without him, you're gonna be able to get the more expensive pieces even easier. That said, like I kind of like even in this build with Robbie Ray, I have 4,100 left, so don't need all those cheap pieces. But man, just say we plug in Jordan, Bregman, Correa, Gurriel. I like that foursome a lot. And then Altuve as well. I mean, even if you throw Altuve in, you can easily make it work. There's cheap guys all over. So I like Houston quite a bit. One of, if not my favorite stack on the board. All right, next up, second to last, we've got the Braves at the Diamondbacks. So Inoa against Mejia. The Diamondbacks aren't really the place I'm looking to go here. It's a small enough slate where I don't think it's like the craziest play in the world, but like they're expensive for the guys you want to go to. I respect Inoa, not for me. The Braves are one of, if not at that stack on the board as well, right there with the Yankees and Astros. I wish they were a little more expensive. Freeman's 5.2, Albies is 48, too cheap. Riley all the way down at 43, Swanson at 38. And these guys are just too cheap. Duvall and Soler, Jack Peterson, Eddie Rosario. Forgot about him. And for the cycle yesterday. The Braves are wildly in play. I wish they were more expensive because keep their ownership down a little bit. They're not. They look like a place you want to go in all formats. All right, last but not least, Sean Manaea against Tyler Anderson. Anderson's interesting. He's not awful, but when he gets hit, he gives up home runs. He gets in trouble by walking guys. The A's lineup is just so good. Bad ballpark. They're priced down a little bit after they were crazy expensive over the weekend. Matt Olson crushes lefties and crushes bullpens. He won't get a lot of love. He's probably my favorite one-off. I don't know if this is the night I want to stack Oakland, but you could do a lot worse than like plugging in these guys. Josh Harrison crushes lefties. Jan Gomes having a real good year against lefties. Matt Chapman, they're way cheaper than they were. It seems like that might be a trend. A lot of teams are way cheaper, except Seattle is expensive. So, yeah, Oakland, not a bad look at all. And then Seattle, Chris Davis, also 3,100. Watch for him to be in the lineup. Seattle's hella expensive against Manaea. Manaea's been very hit or miss lately. 2 really good starts and 3 or 4 or 5 ugly ones. I can't pay these prices for Seattle and Oakland, though. I don't really want to pick on Manaea. I don't really like the Seattle offense. Another one, you want to use one off the 100, get any love. I like Otani more, though, if I'm going to do that. Tom Murphy has power against lefties. Seattle is, I doubt, a place I get to. If Seattle beats me, they beat me. I'm probably only making 3 lineups tonight, and Seattle won't make a guest appearance in any of them, I wouldn't think. So, yeah, that's what I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Making these MLB videos pretty fast and furious because we got NFL. Hopefully everyone's excited for that primetime game tonight, or that Monday Night Football game, excuse me. We got the Lions and the Packers. Everyone's assuming the Packers will roll. They should roll. And, yeah, it should be a fun, exciting game. See Rodgers to Adams a couple times, if nothing else. That's all I got for you guys. If you want more content, more videos, any of that stuff, go check out the DFS 5-pack. Sign up today. We got NFL specials. We're still crushing MLB. We'd love to have you join the team. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Appreciate you as always.